man, I don't know if that was 1 point gained or 2 points lost, but Tottenham still have their heads above the water, ever so slightly, but their heads are above the water. So let's get into it. Tottenham Hotspur won, Leeds United won, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this past Monday. It's Thursday as I speak, so it's a few days after the match. Few days to kind of gather my thoughts and let my anger simmer down because I was beyond frustrated after that game. Like, we had such an opportunity to pull 4 points clear with 2 games left, and we would have been all but safe, barring a miracle on West Ham side. And now we may have shut the front door, we maybe even shut the back door, but we've left a window on the first floor open for West Ham to climb through. They have an opportunity this Sunday to get back above us, and it would force us to go to Stamford Bridge, to Chelsea away, where we don't get anything, and try to get a result. So, like, we've handed West Ham a massive, massive opportunity. And it's just so frustrating because Tottenham weren't great, but they weren't bad in that game. Like, you saw, Leeds were better than what Villa was the week before, and they clearly weren't on the beach, and they were playing like they still had something to gain. Even though, like, with West Ham losing the day before to the Scum, Leeds was officially safe from any relegation, even the tiny bit of relegation threat that they had. But you know what? They came to play, and fair play to them. And that first half was a bit, it was a bit rough. It was a bit messy. But Tottenham created a couple opportunities. I mean, early on in the game, I think it was Muwani played through Richarlison, who just, man, like, that guy had a worse touch than Parbernato this week. Like, he just couldn't control the ball if his life depended on it. And, like, he ran his socks off and he works his balls off for the team. And you could just see, by 60, 65 minutes, he is absolutely just wrung out. He just gives everything to the team. And, like, I know he gets a lot of criticism. I personally really like Richarlison. Like, to me, he's the embodiment of somebody who just, wears the skin of the fans. Like, he cares, right? And, like, you like to see that, but man, if he just had a slight bit more class to his game this past Monday, we would have easily won. But yeah, like, again, it wasn't the cleanest of games in terms of like keeping possession and moving the ball around and creating chances, but we're looking a bit better under De Zerbi. We're moving the ball better. The players seem to have a bit more confidence, and you saw it in the second half when Tell curled a beautiful shot into the top corner. Just absolute peach of a goal. Like, crowd goes nuts. I was just on my couch, just fist pumping. Like, I'm like beyond excited, right? Like, it was like at that time you probably would have had like 40 minutes left in the game. So it's like, okay, like, we are 2/3 of the way there, guys. Like, hold on to this. And not too long after, Richarlison gets a ball placed to him right in the middle of the box. He's unmarked, and I don't know if he just hit it with his shin or what, but like, he just skied it over the net, and like, he had about 2/3 of the goal just gaping for him to just put it in there and just up in smoke. So obviously that chance, I'm like, oh man, are we gonna rule these chances? Is it gonna come back and bite us in the ass? And sure enough, in pure Tottenham fashion, typical Tottenham way, we're in a room with one gun, 2 bullets. Bin Laden and Hitler. What do? We'll just shoot ourselves in the foot 2 times. That's the story of Tottenham. We'll just shoot ourselves in the foot because ball comes into the Tottenham box. Tell's defending his guy, And instead of just getting his head on it and clearing it away, he decides to try an overhead bicycle kick to clear it. He kicks his opponent in the head. You know, ref goes to VAR to look into it. It takes about like 3-4 minutes. They go to the screen, comes back, penalty, and Leeds step up and they score. And it's 1-1. And then from then, Leeds took control of the game. They had the better opportunities. They had the better chances. Kinski, man, like, wow, what a save at the end of the game from Longstaff to get his quick arm up to deflect the ball onto the crossbar, and he could have saved our season with that save. Like he could have saved our season, and to be honest, saved like the future of the club with that one save. And low key, that save he made in the first half down to his left hand side when I think it was Joe Rodon got a head on the ball, and he just got down and pretty much clawed it off the line. So Kinski has two huge saves, and like it's. But again, that second one, it was just absolutely match save. I mean, like to go from the nightmare he had in Madrid against Atletico in the Champions League to literally put that all behind him, wipe it off his shoulders, and just come back stronger and better. Just shows the type of character he has on and off the pitch, the type of mentality he has, and he's definitely a player that like I want to see in this squad next season. If we do go down, Kinski's got to be our number one next season in the championship. If we stay up, I wouldn't be opposed to him being number one. I mean, unless there's we can find a keeper out there for more experience, better quality, maybe some more Premier League experience, then sure, bring him in. But Kinski proved to me that like he's got what it takes to play at this level. So like, tip of the hat to him because that was absolutely fantastic. What else was fantastic is for the first time all season, Mad the Lad, James Maddison, is back. Came off the bench with about, let's call it, I think it was about 10-15 minutes to go. Standing ovation. I stood up myself and gave him a round of applause. It was so good to see him back. The crowd at White Hart Lane was absolutely loving it. And then you could just, you saw, he's obviously not up to match fitness, and he wasn't at his best. But you saw once he was able to get on the ball and like pass the ball around a bit, spray the ball around a bit, like man, what a difference he would have made if we could have got him back earlier, because he just brought the excitement in the crowd up. He brought the confidence of his teammates up. Like we took control. We took better control once he really started humming. And because of that long VAR call earlier I mentioned, and the substitutions and blah blah blah, 13 minutes of injury time. So like once that board went up, the fans knew, okay, we have 13 minutes to win this. And we got into it. And, we had about 12 corners that game. We just couldn't get anything going from our corners. But we had the opportunities, including one right at the death. Maddison cuts into the box, beats his man. The defender makes a challenge. Maddison goes over. To me, penalty. Like, he took the man out. When you slow it down like VAR does to like frame by frame by frame, you see the slightest touch on the ball first. So they obviously don't award the penalty, which is so frustrating for a couple reasons. One, Maddison came out about a day or two later and said it was his touch, his own touch, that pushed the ball away. And two, VAR didn't take that long of a look at it. Like on the Sunday in the West Ham Scum game, West Ham scored super late. That would have got them a draw and would have really fucked over the Scum for their title run. The goal was pulled back because of a foul on keeper Raya in the box. And when you slow it down, yes, 200% Raya was fouled, but there was a million other fouls going on in the box. But it was the foul on Raya that VAR was looking at, and there was a foul on Raya that occurred. So whatever, fair enough. It took like 5 or 6 minutes for them to like sort that out. And they even came out, I think it was the next day, and said, like it took this long. They took their time because the implications it has in the title race, the implications it has in the relegation race, blah blah blah. And fair enough. They explained themselves, but like, what was the Madison foul? Like that was if. Like that would have been a huge call. That is a huge call in the relegation race. If they call that a penalty and we score, it's all but over. And they didn't take anywhere near as long to look at that. And again, it's Tottenham just don't get whether you want to say it's a penalty or not a penalty. Like I'm for, I've seen those given. Like me personally, this isn't me trying to cry foul or cry spilt milk. But next Monday, the Scum play Burnley at home. If it's the 92nd minute and it's tied and Saka's in the box and the exact same foul happens, the Scum are getting a penalty. Not because there's bias or conspiracy or they're paying the refs, just because the refereeing and VAR has been so inconsistent this season. It's beyond frustrating. You saw it in the Hearts match the other day in the Scottish Premier League, where it's a call that could in the long run cost them. You saw it in the West Ham Scum game. You saw it in the Leeds Spurs game. Like the refs and VAR are just so inconsistent with what they deem a call and what's not a call, or what's a penalty, what's not a penalty, red card, not a red card. How long they look at these? Some calls they're looking at it for 20 seconds. Other ones are looking at it for 5 minutes. There's times the ref will go to the screen and just stare for 2 or 3 minutes. There's times he takes one quick glance and he's back and he either points to the spot or waves it away. It's just so inconsistent, and it's just, again, no conspiracy. There's no, secret spy agency that are conspiring for one team to lose or one team to win. But like in life, in inconsistencies, there's going to be victims of inconsistencies and beneficiaries. If 100 people go to a restaurant, that restaurant's not going to serve 100 5-star meals in a row. There's going to be some meals that go out that aren't as great as the meals that go out later or earlier, right? It's going to be inconsistent, right? Some people are going to get the 5-star meal, some people are going to get the 3-star meal, right? It's just inconsistency. It's not favoring the person at this table over the person at that table. So, I just want to clear that up, because I don't think there's any conspiracy to send Spurs down. I don't think there's any conspiracy for the Scum to win the title. Like, the Scum are in the position they are now because they've been the most consistent team throughout the season. Spurs are in the position they are in now because they've been one of the most inconsistent teams. It's as simple as that. But the most inconsistent thing has been refereeing and VAR. Like, it's just, there seems to be no no threshold. It's just like one day this is a call, one day that's not a call. And it's so frustrating to me because, like, unless I'm misremembering the Madison foul, the ref didn't point to the spot and then VAR got in and said, you know what, you might want to look at that again. I think there was a touch, the defender got a touch on the ball, which would result in no penalty. And then the ref went and looked, and now they said, oh yeah, you're right, and reverses the call, or no, I'm standing on my own, I'm standing on my decision, which usually when they go to the screen, the decision gets reversed, but whatever. So he didn't either call a penalty and then VAR corrected him, nor did he wave it off and VAR said, hey, you might want to take a look at it again, I think that was a penalty. He literally made no call. He waved the players away, went to his earpiece, and then VAR said, oh, we looked at it, it's not a call. So the refs aren't even bothering making the calls anymore. Like, it's just, it's VAR at Stockley Park. They're just making the calls, and it's taking all the responsibility off the refs. Like, they have no responsibility or in any of the decisions they make, right? So they can just hold their hands up and be like, oh, not my bad, not my bad. And it's like these re-refereeing of games and like analyzing, like, of course, when you slow it down to a snail's pace and go frame by frame, still picture by still picture, you're gonna see stuff that's like a foul, or like a defender impeding the goalie, or anything like that. It's like the game's not played at a snail's pace, frame by frame, so you can't referee the game at a snail's pace, frame by frame. And I think that's a problem with VAR. It's like when you bring it down to like just like microscopic, like a microscopic ass hair of a offside decision. Like, oh, his half his kneecap was offside. It's like, come on, like fans can't even really cheer a goal anymore because everything gets checked. And again, like I said, the refs aren't even making decisions anymore. They're just letting VAR do it. It's like having two parents. One kid wants to go to the party on the weekend. Instead of one parent saying, yes, you can go, or no, you can't go, or let me sit down with your mother and discuss it. It's, no, ask your mom. Put all the decision making, all the final say, all on one parent's shoulders. So set parent doesn't have to be the good guy, doesn't have to be the bad guy. He can just stay indecisive, stay unbothered, right? Just meh, just stay down the middle. And it's like it's like, look at like in the end, like that call in the West Ham Scum game could have handed us the Scum the title. That call in the game with Leeds and Spurs could be a big decision in the end. And now there's Madison came out with an Instagram picture saying blah blah blah, I got a touch on the ball, he tagged PGMOL. Apparently now he could get a fine or a ban for that because he's calling the integrity of the game into disrepute. Although Jared Bowen did that with his rant after the Scum game and nothing there, but whatever. But even a lot of, again, I'm not on the train of it's a conspiracy. I'm on the train of it's inconsistent, and Spurs just happen to be the victims of the inconsistencies this year. They may be the beneficiaries next season, they may not, right? It's things have just been they just haven't been able to get a call this season. I don't know if it's like a conscious or a subconscious bias on the part of some refs. But my worry is you now have some non-Spurs fans coming out and saying Spurs seem to be getting reffed differently. Spurs seem to be getting called differently. Some of them are actually taking a look at it this isn't right. Some of them are ha 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 ha, good on you, blah blah blah. Which whatever, that's fans being fans, right? But my biggest worry is you're gonna if West Ham lose to Newcastle away this Sunday, Spurs stay a point ahead. So when we go away to Stamford Bridge on Tuesday, we stay 2 points ahead. If we go away to Stamford Bridge on Tuesday, even if we get a draw, we're 3 points clear with a game to go and 10 goal difference, a 10 goal better goal differential. We're all but safe unless there's a huge goal swing, which I doubt there will be. But if West Ham draw, we stay a point ahead. So even if we lose to Chelsea, we have a little bit of advantage. My worry is I got this sickening feeling West Ham's going to turn Newcastle over and get a big win. That's going to put them a point ahead of us. It's going to force us to get a result at Chelsea. And we won there once in 37 years. The last time was 2018, Dele Alli scoring the winning goal. We'd be a point behind them. Chelsea would absolutely love to put the dagger on us and send us down. And even getting a draw there would be a tough, even though they've been bad this season, even getting a draw there would be a tough ask for us, which means we'd go into the last game of the season, a point behind, needing to, let's say, win. At least we'll draw if West Ham was to lose, but West Ham played Leeds at home on the last day, and I don't want to call into question the integrity of Leeds as a club or their players, but they're definitely not going to be as up for it as they were against Spurs. It's the last game of the season. The way the table's lining up, it could be a situation where win or lose, they stay where they are. So it's it's just natural human instinct. You got 5 minutes left in your shift. You're not gonna crack open a new project and get started, right? You're gonna wind down. That last game for Leeds is going to be the last 5 minutes of a shift. They're just going to be winding down, ready to punch out and fuck off. So if Spurs going into that last game of the season needing to win and West Ham to lose, we're well and truly fucked, I think. Like, we'll be down. And my biggest worry is with all this talk about refs and VAR and inconsistencies is if there's if there's a close penalty call, like nothing like, oh, it was clearly a non-penalty, move on, or stonewall, point to the spot, right? But if there's one of those like 50-50 decisions, right? It's one of those things where I think the ref's going to be in his head thinking, like, if I call this and give the penalty, you're going to have West Ham fans and a lot of the country saying, oh, Big Six bias, big clubs get all the calls, blah, 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 blah. And he's going to be hesitant to like give that call because let's be honest, refs are human. Like all this stuff will be going through their mind. Like if I make this call, like everybody's just gonna think I'm favoring the Big Six club. And then if he doesn't make the call, it's like all this conspiracy against Spurs and is it gonna be almost like a subconscious thing? And like, well, Spurs haven't got a call all season. Like what's the why start now, right? I don't know. Like I'm ranting, I'm raving. Like I've been doomsdaying this entire scenario in my head all week. Like for me, it comes down to Sunday. West Ham away to Newcastle at St. James Park. If West Ham lose, I think Spurs are probably going to be safe. But it comes down to that game, and like I just hope that it just doesn't come down to like a VAR call, a ref call, something where like it's up to interpretation, because then you just have an entire summer of either Spurs fans crying under their soup saying like we got screwed, everybody conspired against us to send us down and blah 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 blah, or you're gonna have West Ham fans saying Big Six bias, the big clubs get the calls again, this is bullshit, blah 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 blah, and like it's just going to end on a sour note. I think they really need to reconfigure how they do VAR, reconfigure how they referee games. Maybe VAR can just be for like an offside call, or if the ball went over the line or not. I know they have goal line technology or whatever, but like you can't be like having the game pause for 8 minutes to look over a call, slowing the game down, watching replay frame by frame. And if you are going to, like, you got to get ex-pros in there, who know what it's like to be in a moment of a tackle or a handball, or the certain situation where you're not quite sure, like in the Scum West Ham game, all the tackling and arm pulling and arm grappling in the box, right? You gotta have players saying like, ex-players who are there who can say like, okay, like the players are in this mindset, or the reason why their hand was up in that position was because of this reason or because of that reason, and just almost explain to these pencil neck geeks at Stockley Park who probably never played the game at the highest level why certain players have their hand up or are in a certain position or would do this or would do that, because I think that's a lot of it is like they don't have the mindset of a player. That being said, all ex-players have ex-teams, which means all ex-players have a bias, right? If you get somebody who's a former Liverpool player, and you can't have him doing a VAR in any game that has to do with Manchester United or Everton, right? But even then, like if he's doing a game that involves Bournemouth, but on the last day of the season, Bournemouth need to beat, I don't know, let's say Manchester City, so Liverpool clinched the last Champions League spot. Is his advice to whoever he is with in the VAR room going to be, oh yeah, it's a penalty, or oh yes, it's a right? Like inherent biasness is in all of us, and so like to me that is the biggest problem with VAR. Is and you're letting like a human being decide whether it's a call, like whether it's a card or not, or a penalty or not. It's like there's always a little tiny bit of bias, and like you're never gonna get rid of that. So like just let the game play out as it plays out. Obviously the stonewall calls, let the ref make the decision and move on, right? I mean these re-refereeing of games and slowing the game down to a snail's pace just doesn't do anything for me. Anyways, I've been ranting way longer than I should have. I got to get ready to go to work. So, like, subscribe, comment, criticize, all that jazz, guys. And come on, you Spurs. We need it.